Hello, welcome to Movement Style and me, Caroline, with a YouTube Live class. And this class will concentrate on opening the front of the body, opening front of the hips, front of the spine, and just generally lengthening and releasing as well, in that yoga positions always work with the whole of the body and engage the mind in the whole of the body. But that having been said, there's also this emphasis on really opening the front of the body today. Let's begin by coming down onto the mat. So we're just going to lie down on our back and lengthening at the spine all the way through to the mat. And we're going to hug the right leg in and towards us and let the left leg extend. And ideally, as the left leg extends, we're moving through a line: crown, sacrum, the bone in the spine where the hips and the spine join, tailbone, inside hip joint, inside knee, heel, really letting that leg move away. And as the leg moves away, especially if you've kept this alignment with the inside of the leg with your spine, you'll have more chance of feeling a little bit of lengthening and opening over the front of the hip joint if you're quite limber. If you're not so limber, you'll feel it anyway. And then as we're ready, we're going to hug the right leg towards us, but also circling it around in the hip joint. And as we're doing this, we think about keeping the back of the neck long, keeping the spine through the back of the rib cage relaxed. So the arms anchored down and back into the back of the shoulder joint as much as possible. And as well, how about we just reverse this action through the leg? Just a nice, smooth, even breath as we're working here. And then let's bring that leg into the aligned position, really drawing it forwards, leading the knee towards the right shoulder as much as feels comfortable. So the leg may not come in as much as that. It might just be coming to here. Wherever the leg comes comfortably, it's fine. And we're aiming in conjunction with bringing this leg forward to keep the lower leg quite close to the floor. So that's as we're ready. Breathe in, nice long reach and stretch into the right arm, down into the left leg. And in theory, we should begin to feel the spine opening up in between. Let's breathe out to relax and let go. And then once again, as you're ready, inhalation to reach and lengthen, keeping the back of the neck long and free as we move into that position each time. Good. So really opening and then releasing. And a last time here, breathing in and then breathing out. So we're going to return the right foot to the floor and bringing the right arm towards the side, and then let's bend through the left leg. And we'll have lengthened the spine a little bit in that version of Ardha Padanatasana, and we can just space out between the hips and the ribs and the head the way you may have just seen me doing. And then as you're ready again, this time we're going to draw the left leg in towards the front of the body. You can hold the left leg with the right hand and sliding the right leg away. So again, crown, sacrum, tailbone, inside hip, inside knee, heel, as that leg moves away. So there's a sense of the spine, the base of the spine lengthening into the lower leg. And then as the lower leg opens away from the trunk of the body, at the same time we're thinking about releasing and opening this left leg towards us. So here we can always just hold the leg with both hands, right, as we're circling the leg those 3 or 4 times in one direction. And then again, as you're ready, reversing that circling action. So as before, allowing the upper back, the neck and the shoulders to stay relaxed and easy, just as we're moving the leg around, yeah? And then little by little, we bring that leg back into the alignment where we had the other leg as well. So once again, we're holding the left leg with the right leg, and we're just holding it where it feels comfortable. Might be a little bit further away than my leg. And then the lower leg stays as close to the floor as possible. And then let's breathe in, lots and lots and lots of stretch through the body, diagonally into the right leg, into the left arm. And then breathing out, we can really relax the arm, relax the leg, relax the back.
Again, as we get that diagonal stretch moving into the arm and the leg, seeing if we can feel our spine really lengthening in the center. And then again, breathing out to release. Now, as well as lengthening the spine, we could be lengthening our breath here as we breathe in and the arm moves up and back. We have a good opportunity of bringing our breath deep into the chest here. And then again, as the arm comes back to the side, we've got a good opportunity of really emptying the lungs in a comfortable way of the breath. So remembering it's not just all about the physical movement, as well a very, very important aspect of the yoga asana, the yoga positions, is the breathing. So now there we are, we've worked that through those 4 rounds of the breath, and we can relax the arm to the side, and we can also release and lengthen the left leg away from us. So let's roll the legs inwards and outwards 2 or 3 times at the hip joints, and roll the arms inwards and outwards 2 or 3 times, and releasing the head and neck as well as we heal. Let's then think about bending the knees and bringing the soles of the feet in contact with the mat, and we're going to just pop the soles of the feet onto the edge of the yoga mat. Now, if you haven't got a yoga mat, what that essentially comes down to is just bringing the feet wider than your hips, quite a bit wider than your hips, in fact. And then we can open the arms out in line with the shoulder joints, and then let's, as we're ready, with an exhalation, flow the spine in the lower spine towards the right side, and the head and neck can flow over towards the left side. And then as you're ready again, breathing into, bring the spine and the ribs back to the center, and the spine through the waist, sacrum, tailbone. And then again, as you're ready, with an exhalation, just flowing through towards the left side. And then coming back towards the center. So we're going to flow this through another 3 times to each side. And I'm a big believer in rather than wrenching the spine side to side with the legs, really moving from the tailbone and moving from the sacrum, and then moving through the vertebrae in the waist and then through the ribs. And then on the way back, if we hug the breastbone to the spine and we really draw the navel to the spine and hollow in the lower abdomen, that will help us to bring the spine back little by little, without a lot of tension in the legs, so that we're really holding on to the opening and lengthening that we're doing. We can feel the legs probably opening and releasing here, as well as the spine. Now, a nice thing to do, especially when the legs are wide, is a long diagonal reach, another diagonal reach. So as we twist over towards the right, how about a nice diagonal reach back into the left arm? We can even look in the direction of the left fingertips, let that left arm travel up and out away from the body. And then we breathe in to come back to the center. And then breathing out, going in the opposite direction. So twisting the lower body towards the left, and an up and out reach into the right arm. And then we can breathe in to flow back to the center. So we just work that through once more to each side. Really long, freeing stretch, feeling the whole of the left side of the body opening up, side of the ribs, waist, outside hip, thigh, breathing in to come back again. And then again, that final side, rotating, freeing the spine, freeing the side of the body. And let's breathe in to flow back and towards the center. So here we let our arms come in towards the sides, and as well, we're just going to hug the legs in and towards us. Quite nice to just get that little bit of an energy shunt as we breathe out, hollow in the lower abdomen, navel to the spine, and we're bringing the legs in, breathing in to release again, breathing out, breathing in. And if we feel up to it, we keep the lower body and the breath leading, and we let the head and neck round up afterwards. So here we just work through 2 more breaths. Good. And from here, depending on how you're feeling, you can use that strength to roll up to seated, or if rolling up is not so good for you, just come onto the side and pressing up and then through. Good. So from here, we're going to bring ourselves around and into the 4-4s. So let's just come around like that. And I always say, come into the all fours, but what I really mean is lengthen the hips back and towards the heels, stretching the spine, and again, the chance to open up through the sides, broadening in the collarbones, broadening in the ribs to either side of the breastbone and to either side of the spine. So we really open the rib cage, widen it away from the center of the body. And also just thinking about opening a little bit of space between the crests of the hip bones here at the front and between the sitting bones. So there's lots of room for the spine to release forwards and lengthen. The advantage of that is as we breathe in and come through towards the all fours now, that we have lots of space in the spine and we can really move it and roll it, which is what we're in theory about to do. So let's, with the exhalation, draw up and back in the lower abdomen, draw the navel to the spine, feel the muscles between the floating ribs engage, and hugging the spine back towards the breastbone. So this is all with our exhalation. Then as you're ready with an inhalation, reopening. So letting the tailbone move back, opening over the front of the spine. We keep the lower abdomen lifted, navel drawing to the spine. Keep hugging the breastbone towards the spine as we move forwards and upwards through the upper back. So that's a little bit slow for an exhalation and an inhalation. But the idea is to really try to feel our spine mobilizing, to use enough strength in the core muscles and enough control around the front of the chest that we actually feel the whole spine rolling and moving with us. Yeah. And an interesting little variation here, if you feel like opting up, is to keep the fronts of the feet on the floor, rounding and rolling. And then again, breathing in to roll up and forwards. Breathing out to round the spine. And then breathing in to roll forwards and upwards. And let's just give that one more go here. So we roll and breathing in to re-up. So let's tuck back. We can always open the backs of the feet here by tucking the toes under as we reach back. So again, this may not be comfortable. You can always keep the fronts of the ankles more open. But if you can, getting that little bit of lengthening now in the soles of the feet, the backs of the feet, and breathing. So from here, I'm going to draw forwards again towards our all fours position, deep lift in the lower abdomen, navel drawing to the spine, and if we can, shoulder blades widening, drawing down the back a little. We keep the abdominal muscles really working, going to extend there into the right leg, really reaching back towards that right heel. 2 or 3 breaths here. Getting a little bit more stretch, both through the sole of the foot and the calf muscle on the right side. Good. And then we can change that. So we're going to reach back through into the left leg. And just working there, keeping the spine as long as we can. Good. Good. And then, once again, just allow that to release. So from here, it might be handy to have a break or block nearby as we just, with our right leg, turn the right leg out behind us. You're going to send the right foot and lower leg behind you, and then turning the right fingertips towards your left hand, and then core muscles working. So again, lower abdomen working, navel to the spine. Coming through, shoulder blades stay wide and they move down the back. So we're here in this semi-half plank, semi-side plank. And this is where I say, could be that it's helpful to extend your arm by popping a brick or a block underneath. Ribs hug up on the side, waist hugs up, lengthening into the leg here again. So we've got the instep of the leg to the floor this time. We can draw up through the gluteal muscles, really stretch into the leg, a little bit of support there. We might reach really long and open through this upper side. So we could breathe in to reach through, breathe out here, breathing in and breathing out to come back again. So we can breathe in to prepare and then breathing out a long stretch. So opening your spine in between that, stretch into your arms, stretch into your legs, and this leg quite active, reaching away. That round of the breath and breathing out to come back. Last time. Once again, we breathe in to prepare, breathing out with that full long stretch, keeping the breastbone hugging back towards the spine, breathing in here. And then again, as you're ready, breathing out, the arm comes back and down. So let's just turn ourselves around. And we might feel that we're ready for a little release after that, just giving the body a chance to recover. Not too long, because we need to do the other side as well. So from here, we're going to breathe in, come forward, deep lift lower abdomen, navel to the spine, shoulder blades wide, moving down the back, and we can just turn our left fingertips now in the direction of our right hand, and then the left leg moves back and behind us. The right leg extends to the side. So really stretching into the right leg here. Underside of the body quite strong. You can breathe in to prepare and breathing out that long reach going through. But equally on this side, if it feels like a good idea, just give yourself a little bit of a lift and support. And the idea of that is that the spine is so much freer and longer. And really when our spine is free and long in the center of the depth of the body, that's when we're going to get the most out of opening, lengthening, and indeed strengthening. So keep your spine aligned and gradually the rest of your body will respond. But if you're in a sort of higgledy-piggledy position like this, then the body doesn't really lengthen. So we've got this exhalation to arrive here, an inhalation to be in this position, and an exhalation to come back. Last round. So breathing in to prepare and breathing out this long reaching stretch. Breathing in. And then again, breathing out, we're going to come down and away. So we're turning towards the mat again, and we can always, if we prefer, have a breather, hips to heels. Or if we feel ready, we're going to flow ourselves back and up into downward facing dog. So knees can soften so that we can get a good lift through the outsides of the arms, the muscles in the outsides of the arms working. Shoulder blades are moving in the direction of our sitting bones, breastbone hugs to the spine, navel draws to the spine, deep lift in the lower abdomen, heels can sink down and away. We draw up through the kneecaps and the fronts of the thighs. So your knees can always be pretty bent in Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Heels can be lifted away, it doesn't matter. Just breathing. And then gradually, as you're ready from downward facing dog, we're going to step our right leg forwards. And we can simply step forward, or if we want to, we get a long lift up and back into that right leg. And then, as you're ready, breathing in, going to step the right leg through to between the hands. Let's bring the back knee down. So the back knee can just come down in an easy way. We'll open up through that back hip a little bit more in a minute. If you feel comfortable with the leg going further back, you can take it further back. And again, if you don't have great balance in split kneeling, think about taking up a couple of bricks or blocks again. Front heel presses into the floor, that's helpful. Base of the big toe joint presses into the floor. And all the toes reach and extend away from the toe joints. And then from here, we roll up through the spine and restacking. So bricks or blocks can be helpful in that position. Also, a little bit of tension between that front heel and back knee can help to give us some lift and stretch in this position. So let's from here open our side again. And it's going to be the left side as we're in this position. So we breathe in, reach up through the left arm, we can breathe out here. Breathe in again, reach tall. And then breathing out from the base of the spine, moving up to come over into a little side bend. Now we'll feel the hip opening on the left side if we really keep that left hip pressing forwards. If we let it swing back, we'll lose a lot of the advantage of this opening around the front and side of the hip joint. And then again, we're going to breathe in to lift up and out of that position. Now, from here, we've already been opening through the left side and the front of the left hip, and we might be able to, as we breathe out, come into a twist, turning towards this front leg. And then from here, we could think about hinge, and I've brought my hands together into Namaste. We could hinge forward so that the left elbow is to the outside of the right knee, and the elbows can both stay quite open. So if that feels a little bit inaccessible as well, just put your brook in. You can work with holding on to it, and this arm can just reach back like that. So maybe we're here. And then from here, lots of deep lift in your abdominal muscles, coming back up. So you might still be holding your brick, and then you're holding your thigh. And then we can press the hand, that right hand onto the sacrum, the back of the hips, and we lift up through our spine, lifting up to open, still pressing our left hip forward. So we've got lots of space through the spine, shoulder blades moving down the back, breathing. And then again, let's breathe in, lift it up and away. And we're going to breathe out, blow our arms forwards and downwards. Now this is where we could, if we wanted to, just for a moment or two, experiment with opening the front of this hip a little bit more. So we lead back and we lead forwards. Letting the spine flow here, reaching back, crown to tailbone. Coming forwards, tailbone to crown. So in a way you see the movement in the legs, but there's actually quite a lot of lengthening through the spine. And this is another position where the bricks or the blocks may be helpful. So next time as we come forward, or this time as we come forward, we're going to let that be the last time. And the hands can come to either side of the front foot. Head can come to the inside of the front knee, lifting with your abdominal muscles, breathing out. We're going to reach back and up. Once again, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Often helpful to bend the knees, to structure strength around the ribs and through the waist and in the lower abdomen, so we can lift the weight of the trunk off the hands and off the shoulder joints. And then we send the weight of the hips down through the legs behind us. Breathing here. Yeah. So then again, you can either from here look forward and step the left leg forwards, or we're reaching back towards our right sitting bone, keeping that right waist really long. Reach and lengthen, breathing out, our left leg behind, looking forwards. We breathe in and bring that leg forward. Out of breath, that knee comes down. So same as before, making our front foot nice and strong, heel down, ball of the foot down. And then we could have our bricks or blocks handy. Breathing out, we can roll up through our spine. Again, we can put that little bit of tension between the front heel and the back knee. So if you're pulling them together, you don't move much, but that gives you a little bit of brace and support. So we can also reach to the block on the side if it's helpful. We can breathe in, lift up through our right arm. Breathing out here, stretching and lengthening. Breathing in to grow tall once more. Breathing out, we're coming up to come over. You can take support through a brick or block, or we don't need to. If we haven't got one, we can use the thigh instead. So, breath or two, and then we breathe in to come back up. So we aim to keep pressing our right hip forward, the right side of the pelvis forward, and we're twisting towards your left leg. And then from here, we can hinge, keeping the lower spine long forwards so that the right elbow comes to the outside of the left leg. But equally, as I said on the first side, we can put something in there and be here. So we're breathing in either position, of course, breathing. Yeah. And then once again, abdominal muscles working. We're going to breathe in to lift up and away from there. You can bring the left hand onto the sacrum, out breath. And then again, we breathe in to reach up through the right. Yeah, left hand on the sacrum, right arm lifting up. That's it. So we breathe, really opening the side, keeping that right hip pressing forwards. And then once again, flowing first one arm and then the other arm forwards and downwards. Head can come to the inside of that front knee. Just breathe in and breathe out. We press back and up. Good. So knees can bend. Get that sense of strength. Lifting the trunk of the body away from the hands and the shoulders. So breastbone hugs to the spine, ribs gather in, navel to the spine, lower abdomen, ribs, heels sink forward. Now from here, if you feel ready for a rest, just coming down, relaxing in the child. But otherwise, we're going to think about passing through towards the plank here. So instead of just reaching into one heel the way we practiced before, we're reaching into both heels, stretching our spine forward. Then let's breathe out, bringing knees towards the mat. Keep the elbows tucking in, breathing out, chest comes through to the floor. Keep the breastbone hugging to the spine, elbows really pin back. They stretch back as the spine counter stretches forwards and upwards between the hands. Yeah. In breath, cold breath. And then from here, out breath, I'm going to lift up and we can flow back. Adho Mukha Svanasana. So breath or two here, just breathing, centering, being. And then as you're ready, with an exhalation, let's just flow the body down and we're going to relax into the child. So a rest here, nice letting go, simply being and breathing. Good. And then gradually, as you feel ready, rolling up through your spine. And in fact, in the next section, we're going to come up to standing. So as you're coming up to standing, I'm also going to need to move my camera slightly back and adjust the angles just a little bit, I think. Oops. There we are. And so here we are again. So let's stand towards the back of your yoga mat. It's nice and tall, tailbone releasing down, hand of the head moving up. I'm going to breathe in and then breathe out a long stride along the length of the mat. And then with an exhalation, we're coming into a lunge. So aiming to really open that front of the back hip and the back leg away, keeping your spine really tall through the center. And then coming into the lunge, if you draw all the leg strength up, lifting the leg strength up into the pelvis and then lunge, holding on to that strength as much as possible. And then breathing in, we're going to reach up, both arms lifted. Out breath here, breathing in again. And then as you're ready, let's just bring the right hand onto the right and come lifting up and over, side bend again. So we keep pressing this left hip forward. You should feel lots of openings through the front of that hip. And a bit of openings through the back of the leg on the left side as well. And then let's breathe in to restack our spine. Now, this is the same pattern that we followed in the low lunge, and we're going to twist here towards our front leg. Yeah. And then this time, let's open the arms and breathe in and hinging forward. So you can either slice your left arm down to the outside of your right leg, or you can take a bit of support with the hand on that thigh. Strong counter stretch into your back, reaching the spine, putting long, tailbone to crown, breathing. And then again, energy into that back arm. You breathe in to lift up, breathe out to bring the right hand onto the back of the hips. Breathing in, lifting tall, lengthening up through this left side. Keep pressing your left hip forward, opening the front of the chest. And then again, we breathe in, lift tall, and breathing out to flow forwards and downwards. So you can come all the way through to the floor, one fell swoop, or you can bring that left hand towards your left thigh for support. Right hand comes down, and then the left hand. Head comes to the inside of our front knee, shoulder strength in place, abdominal strength in place. And press back, Adho Mukha Svanasana again. So breathing here. Good. And then from this position, let's walk back towards our legs. Knees can always bend. Again, thinking about lengthening the spine. Keeping the spine as long as possible in what we're doing. So from here, so you're ready, nice deep lift in the abdominal muscles. We're going to breathe in, roll up through the spine, all the way through to the crown of the head. So a moment or two simply to be here, to feel that our mind and the energy of the body are together, i.e. centered within our own body, our own being. And once again, as you're ready, we need to flow through to the other side. So breathing in nice and tall, and then breathing out, keep the spine lifting and lengthening away from our legs. We step that left leg forward, and then again we draw lots of strength up through our leg muscles, and we're working into the lunge. So just a lunge, the front of the back leg, the front of the back hip needs to keep opening, and we aim to keep our spine really tall, tailbone to crown, really tall like that. And then coming down into that position with one of these exhalations. Let's breathe in and flow our arms up. Exhalation here and an inhalation. And then with an exhalation, letting the left hand come to the hip, and we're lifting up to come over. So now this side, really pressing your right hip forward, up to come over. Breathing. And then once again, inhalation to lift up. And with an exhalation, twisting. So really keep pressing that right hip forward to help you come into the twist. I'm trying to move the twist not from the arms pulling with the shoulders, but using your waist and core muscles around the abdomen and into the back. So then once again here, we can hinge forward a little and get a long reach up and back, or we can use this front thigh for support. So your choice. And breathing, so Paragrijipasakanasana, a version of. And then once again, lots of energy into our back arm, breathing in. Exhalation, left hand comes to the back of the left hips, and breathing in, reaching up through the right side. So keep pressing that right hip forward, really breathing in, really reaching. And then once again, as you're ready, we lift. And with our exhalation, we flow forwards and downwards. So we can come part way, or you can come all the way to the floor and then through. Breathing in, breathing out, we step back. So knees can bend. And again, we lift the ribs away from the shoulder joints. Keep the shoulders as wide as you can at the front and at the back. Abdomen working, kneecaps pull up, and sides of the legs draw up. Breathing. So again, at the end of that little sequence could be that you're ready to relax into the child. Or it could be that you're ready to flow into plank. So again, Chaturanga Dandasana, reaching into the heels, lengthening the spine forward, stretching your back as much as you can. And then from here, knees, chest, chin could come to the mat. We put lots of energy into the back of the body to lift. And we can dive everything through to the floor. And breathing in, once again, elbows pin back, spine lengthens forwards and upwards, opposite direction. So it's really a back and core strength movement rather than a push with the arm. And this time we're going to breathe out and release down. And again, this time we're just sending the hips back and towards the heels. So we relax here, 3 or 4 breaths, simply being in the child, Dandasana. So then, once we're ready from the child, we come forwards onto the front of the body again. So just diving through, trying to keep our abdominal muscles still working. So lower abdomen lifted, navel drawing to the spine, breastbone and spine hug towards each other. And again, keeping the muscles working between the floating ribs at the base of the spine. This time, as you may be able to see, we've brought the forearms towards the floor. Now, although the arms are here, still keep the muscles, I could bring my forearms out, still keep the muscles around your abdomen and around your ribcage working, so that the spine is really free, supported, and it can be lengthening and opening. Now, really in theory, opening your right leg to the side if it's comfortable, but I'm going to do my left leg so that you can see what's happening. So the spine staying in neutral, the core muscles keep working. And then we're just going to, in theory, it's your right leg that you're drawing forward like this. Now, if you need to, release the spine down a little bit, edge the elbows a bit more forward. And also maybe just not bringing the leg as far as that. If it feels too strong, if it feels comfortable, that's fine. So here as well, we might a little bit, if you've drawn your right leg up, it's the same arm as the leg that's moved. You can just come back a little bit. And from here, same idea as before, working with your core strength, the same as we did in standing. We couldn't lever with the floor when we twisted in standing. So still using your core muscles to twist rather than wrenching your body here with your arm, because we don't want to put too much force into the soft tissues that separate the vertebrae in the spine. So I'm turning and I feel the support coming from my arm. It allows me to lengthen into the position a little bit more because I've got that support, but it's not the force, it's not the leverage of the movements. And hopefully that does make sense. And then as you're ready again, let's just gently untwist, and I'm going to release that leg. And then we just set up again for our cobra. So thinking about core muscles working, some support, of course, from the arms. And then as you're ready, releasing your other leg. So in theory, the left leg releasing. And it can release just a little or a lot. And again, with the abdominal muscles working, same arm as leg, and just draw back. And then again, twisting, using our core muscles, we can rotate and look back. So those rotations occurring on the exhalation and releasing on the inhalation. So again, just the support from the arm. Allowing the spine to work gently. You know, it has to last us for however long we need it. And again, rotate and untwisting. So here we are, back to the front, back to the center. We can just once again revisit our open spine here. And from here, we can press back and up downward facing dog, or hips to heels child. I'm going to flow into the downward dog. I lift through my abdominal muscles. I pull my knees a little bit forwards. Breathing out, I reach back, a long line, wrist, shoulder, hip, deep lift, lower abdomen, navel to the spine, grasp on, hugs to the spine. Here we are again in our Adho Mukha Svanasana. Or the child. And in either position, seeing if you can find a symmetry through the body. Seeing if you can balance the work of being where you are with ease, really balancing ease and work together. And as that balance comes in, allowing the mind to relax, allowing the mind to rest. Just breathing. Good. Now from here, we're going to walk the lower body forwards this time towards the hands. And we're in Uttanasana. We're not going to stop in Uttanasana for long. We could widen our legs out a little bit. And from here, we could, depending on how our knees are, come down into a squatting position. Or we can be in a much higher position, not bending the knees so much. We can open the position a little bit by raising the heels there. So it's not as strong. Yeah. So I'm using a fair bit of abdominal strength. Just releasing the lower back. Heels may come down. Sometimes all it really takes as well, because it can be that the stretch in the calf is tremendous. If you put a block or a book under each heel, under both heels, that can take a lot of the pressure. So we're here, Malasana, the knees are wide. And we can bring the palms together and lifting up, opening up over the front of the abdomen, front of the spine, lifting into the crown. And then from here, wherever we are, we carefully come back. So I'm going to bring my hand back to support me. And I just let the soles of my feet come together. So nice and tall through the spine here for a few moments. Just releasing and opening the thighs towards the sides. That's it. And then gradually, little by little, we're going to think about bringing ourselves down and towards the mat. So this is where we could simply roll down through the spine, bringing the body onto the floor. Or if you should happen to have a couple of bricks, you could place one brick so that the spine will fall down onto that brick. And then the other one is on its side and the other one is on the flat, so that the head can be supported without hanging back too far. But you really need two things to support you. So we find the position where the brick will not be digging into the back of the rib cage. So that will be slightly different for all of us. I have quite a high tolerance to bricks digging into the back of my rib cage by comparison with many people. I may not be a good gauge. And then, as you can see, if I didn't have this other block, my neck would be way, way too large. That's dangerous and not a good idea. So ensure that your neck here is supported. A little bit it's arching back, but only just a gentle little bit. So, and here I can, especially with the elevation through at the back of the chest, if I open my arms out towards the sides, I'll get a lovely stretch through across the chest and into the insides of the arms. And that's probably the best position. And just in case you weren't able to follow, if you haven't got an army of bricks and blocks to hand, then the idea was just from here that we rolled down in a normal way towards the back, and the soles of the feet coming together and can space outside. So if you're on your bricks and blocks and you feel happy, stay there. And otherwise you can come here, possibly in this position, the arms just moving, rolling out in a gentle position is the nicest. And then for some people, holding this open position in the hips may not be tremendously comfortable, and we don't need yoga equipment to support the legs. We can pop a cushion or a pillow in underneath the thighs, where I've just popped my yoga bricks in, to support us so that we can maintain this open position for a few moments of just breathing and really allowing our body to relax and soften as much as possible. There is in either position a slight arch through the spine, opening the front of the spine, but we might try to think about softening and relaxing and letting go through the back of the spine, although the whole spinal process is softening towards the tailbone. And with the inhalations here, we may feel quite a powerful inhalation. We may really feel that the breath helps to add additional openness over the front of the spine here. Might feel lots of expansion and energy in the solar plexus around the base of the ribcage and the diaphragm. And with the exhalations, perhaps we could come to that abdominal center, just drawing the navel towards the spine. Spending a few moments again to feel the energy circulating and moving through the body. And also allowing the mind to rest and to be within the body, to be a part of and integrated with the energy that we may be experiencing here at the end of the practice. Finding a few moments to simply breathe and to simply be. Breathing and being really almost synonymous. Being aware of the living present. The being within the body. The being of the body. Just relaxing a few moments longer, simply drifting in the energy that is. Drifting with the breath. And then gradually, as we come through to the end of the next round of the breath, we're bringing a little bit of movement back into the fingers and hands, and a little bit of movement back into the toes and the feet. We're letting the eyes open again and really reconnecting with the physical surroundings where you actually are, and letting your sense of hearing connect again with the physical surroundings and environment where you actually are. And then gently engaging the abdominal muscles, hugging the breastbone to the spine. Let's allow our legs to come back into the center, into the aligned position, and giving the spine just a few moments of repose here, letting it relax into the mat, either with the knees bent or with the legs extended. Just absorbing for a moment what we've been doing. And then we're going to reach a nice long stretch upwards and downwards, feeling that we are fully centered and grounded within our bodies, knowing the full length and breadth and depth of space that is the body, sensations over the surface of the body, and feeling that our consciousness is inside those sensations, that we are in our bodies. So we stretch and reach, letting the back muscles re-engage. We can hook the legs in and towards us, and circling the hips on the mat, releasing our lower back, and also opposite direction, just letting go of any residual traces of that last position. And then from there, how about we roll over, coming onto one side, and pressing up and away from the side towards seated, coming around to a comfortable position
Om Shanti Namaste. Thank you for watching. Thank you for following this practice. I hope that you've enjoyed it, and I also hope to see you again soon on the Movement Style channel.